For 13 long years, she worked tirelessly every day, but even though she had a net worth of over $50 million, she never got to decide how a penny of it was spent. Under the guise of conservatorship, her father ruled her life and broke her. But still, she remained strong-willed and, like a phoenix, rose from the ashes. But how did she overcome the obstacles? What can we learn from Britney Spears? Keep on watching till the end to find out more about the story of Britney Spears, her tragic way to freedom, and how she found her own voice. The famous story of Britney Spears is that of an American icon who suffered from public degradation, betrayal, silencing, and imprisonment. Britney's life wasn't always a mystery. She started out as a teenage star who loved to sing and dance. Spears was born in Macomb, Mississippi, and raised as a Southern Baptist in Kentwood, Louisiana. Her parents are James Parnell Spears, a building contractor, and Lynn Irene Bridges, a former grade school teacher. Spears' brother, Brian, was one of her managers, while her sister, Jamie Lynn, is also an actress and singer. Britney Spears is an American pop singer who, according to Times Magazine, has sold over 76 million records worldwide and ranks as one of the best-selling female artists in American music history. Spears' life has always been in the spotlight of the media, and a life in privacy was basically impossible for her. But her attitude towards the public changed dramatically after her divorce from her former backup dancer, Kevin Federline, in 2007. The divorce, and also separation from her children, broke her. In addition, she was constantly bugged by paparazzi, and this got on her nerves. One day, she shaved her own head and reportedly told a nearby tattoo artist that she was sick of people touching her hair. When the relentless paparazzi went as far as taking pictures of her from outside the hair salon, she attacked a paparazzo's car with an umbrella. She went in and out of rehab, and her erratic actions worsened the coverage of the media on her affairs. In January of 2008, Spears was twice placed under a psychiatric hold. A month later, her father, who had been absent from the family, petitioned the courts for emergency, temporary conservatorship over his daughter. The order was granted, and he was automatically in charge of Britney's healthcare, of her money, and who she was allowed to talk to. Throughout the entire period that the conservatorship lasted, Spears had no control over her finances and her personal life. Her father, Jamie Spears, was the one in charge of all of these decisions. Britney was never even allowed access to a phone, and it almost sounds like she was a prisoner being held captive by her parents. But unlike what most people think, conservatorship is not a substitute for rehab. It's an extreme way to care for someone who physically or mentally is unable to care for themselves. They can't do work or basic necessities like feed themselves or pay their own bills. Like a child, they need to be cared for. And for Spears, her conservatorship covered both her finances and her day-to-day life. Spears was also required by law to pay her conservators, including her dad. According to the 2016 New York Times report, Jamie earned an annual salary of $130,000 and took home 1.5% of the gross revenues from the Las Vegas residency that Spears held from 2013 through 2017. For this whole time, Spears kept up a facade, all because she was scared to speak up and confront her father. Although most of Britney's fans all around the world accused her family for victimizing her, we also do need to acknowledge that her father came into her life at a point when she was at her breaking point. This change might have been helpful to her at the beginning as she seemed to get better. It almost appears that, under Jamie's supervision, Britney Spears' financial empire blossomed. She released 4 studio albums, did a stint as a judge on The X Factor, and played nearly 250 performances during her Vegas residency. In addition, she also established several lucrative merchandise deals, and her net worth went up to a whopping $59 million. However, she still could not dictate how a dime of it would be spent. To the whole world, it seemed like Spears was making a lot of progress, both in her health and her career. The media never even talked about the fact that she was still under conservatorship. Most people were glad that Spears didn't turn out like some other child stars in history who ended their lives in a brief and tragic manner, the likes of Judy Garland or Amy Winehouse. But who knows, maybe their parents could have salvaged the situation too. To say that the Spears family had their shortcomings would definitely be an understatement. But the fact still remains that they stepped in and did what the Garlands and Winehouses failed to do. Still though, they are not off the count. Britney recounted that during her conservatorship, she was forced to check into a mental health facility just because she refused to do a dance move in one of her dance rehearsals. Her father threatened her to listen to the doctors, otherwise there would be a lawsuit and she wouldn't stand a chance against him in court. Spears had to cancel her planned second Vegas residency and inform the public that she had to spend time with her gravely ill father. According to Britney, Jamie loved the control he had over someone as powerful as his daughter, and according to Britney,
I remember the first day he said, "I'm Britney Spears and I'm calling the shots."
While speaking in court on June 23rd of 2021, and in her recent audio clip, she made it clear that she was not happy living in her conservatorship. During the larger part of the conservatorship, Spears had to work with a court-appointed lawyer. Britney later reached out to her friend Sharon Stone, who helped her to get a lawyer of her own. How was she able to suddenly reach out after being in the same situation for 13 long years? Even when her family made her believe that she was too unstable to take care of herself, Spears still went ahead to build her confidence. Against all odds, she made that one major decision that changed everything. Spears hired former federal prosecutor Matthew Rosengart, who called on Jamie to yield to his daughter's wishes and to step down from the conservatorship. Britney's actions started yielding results when on September 12, 2021, Jamie filed a petition to permanently put an end to the conservatorship, stating that he always had his daughter's best interests at heart, and finally stepped down since the conservatorship was no longer needed. In November of 2021, after a court hearing in Los Angeles, the Supreme Court made the decision long awaited by the Free Britney movement. The conservatorship that had run her life since 2008 should end, effective immediately. It's been a while now, and Spears gives us more revelation into what happened inside the conservatorship and what she thought about it. The American legend recently released an audio clip on social media on the 28th of August, where she made some more shocking claims. So why did it take so long for Britney to speak up for herself? She stated that she had been too scared to talk about it because she didn't want to be judged by the public. In addition, it's very natural to believe the things our families tell us, as it's only natural for anyone to assume that our family members would sincerely want to protect us. This shows us two things. One, even the dearest and closest to you may not know what's best for you. Always listen to yourself, to your heart, and make yourself heard. Family members can be naysayers. They can even turn out to be the most dangerous kind, disguised as protectors. And two, the amount of courage and accumulation of strength that Britney pulled out must have been insane. In the recent clip released by the superstar, she blamed her mother and her siblings for keeping quiet and not standing up to her dad. She claimed that they secretly loved the fact that she was the bad one. Over time though, all the questions raised by her fans on the internet, coupled with a voicemail from someone who used to be a paralegal at the law firm in charge of Spears' conservatorship, caused the Free Britney movement to take off in April of 2019. The Free Britney movement was simply the success of her showing off how vulnerable she was and speaking up for herself. It proved that those who really love you will often reveal themselves as true friends. While Britney's family members found it hard to speak up, her fans passionately took to the streets to protest for her freedom. And although her conservatorship continued for 13 grueling years, Britney still found the courage to speak up. No matter what stage of life you're in, you have to know that it's never too late to fight for your rights, to never give up on yourself. This may apply to those who want to do something that is considered as risky in their families, and could be anything from wearing a haircut you like, to starting a career in arts, or something else that's seen as unusual in the family. Don't be afraid to ask people for help either. You never know how much you're loved. Never lose faith. Constantly remind yourself that no situation has to stay the same. What do you think about Britney's former situation and her inner conflict? Can you relate to her story? Tell us in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.